Hello, people. Good morning, friends, and welcome back. I am Vimal Chavda from RRC Pune committee, and we are here today with a very interesting session. But before that, we are RATA, the Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Trades Association Limited, and we are one of the association who is striving very hard to help business people who are into refrigeration trades, bringing them together and helping them to build their business and work successfully. In the year 1949, this association started, and we are bringing people from the vertical of refrigeration trade together. Rata has a vision to make sure that the HVACR trade presence is felt at the national and international level, to recognize HVACR trade in government bodies, to upgrade all MSMEs of HVACR trade, uh, and conduct and continuously doing so. Continuing with our journey further, we are getting today a very important topic which is related to our business, and that's a new opportunity for us, which would reduce a lot of our workload regarding e-invoicing. There are a lot of misconceptions in the market, and we need to bridge that gap of the misunderstanding. Today we have none other than Binoy Jha sir, who is also an active Rata member. He has a wide experience, not just of industry, but also on the commercial part. He understands the government policies very well and helps us to implement that. Welcome, Binoy Jha sir, and the platform is all yours for today's session. Mind you, whenever you have got questions, please do put them in the chat box, and we would be more than happy to help you with understanding after the show is over. Welcome. Ja, sir. The stage is all yours.
Namaskar. Good morning to all Rata members. As Mr. Chowda described, today morning we are here to discuss e-invoice, which is implemented long back, but as it is now being brought down to the lower level of turnovers, and in coming years it will go further down to make it industry friendly. The government is slowly coming in this, so we will start with that and hope all of you would like to know these things, these changes, which is going to happen in very near future. Currently, we are here for e-invoicing. Now, let's start with that. So, what's e-invoicing? The very first question comes. If you go through the e-invoicing system, the government, while starting the GSTR system itself, had this thing in mind. But because of the big volume and complications they faced initially, they stopped for quite some time. And if you see, they started this e-invoicing mostly for B2B. What exactly it means? The B2B invoice gets authenticated by GSTN. This is done in past, but then it was only for 500 crore above. Then it was brought down to 100 crore and subsequently to 50 crores from different dates. But if you see 50 crore and above clients or customers or some suppliers, all these are big, having big infrastructure. So it was never having such a discussion point because they have a full technical team to support. But now, from 1st April 2022, it is applicable on all entity where there is a turnover has crossed 20 crore in any of the financial year from 2017-18 to 2021-22. So it is not the previous year turnover which is making the case applicable. It is any of the 4 years if you had more than 20 crores, then this is applicable. GSTN system also helps to understand whether this is applicable to a company or not. So when you go to the system, it gives you that particular. If you go to the systems, sites, the site will give you a notification which says that as per the notification dated so and so, e-invoice is mandatory for taxpayers with annual turnover more than 20 crores from 1st April. Now, why this notification? Because any change in the presentation or implementation of the GST system needs to be through either amendment by parliament in their law or by a notification for the change from the respective dates despite the law in place for certain levels, like say for example here this is 20 crores, but this is now already discussing point for others that it will go down to 10 crores or 5 crores, but it will definitely come down to the level of companies having turnover of 5 crore in due course. Now, why this is so important now to discuss? The discussion point is simple. What is the purpose of e-invoice? And if you go through the broad advantage which government sees from the e-invoices, it is streamlining and efficiently processing that reduce turnaround time for what you can say is for deliveries. It will reduce or rather minimize the reduction of this communication from one state to other state due to the process that whether it is fully legally transporting the material or not. Then the second question comes: better visibility and transparency across the system. Anywhere you are sending material, there is no confusion. Then it increase the accuracy level. It increase accuracy level in the sense that if you make some errors, the system will guide you in beginning itself how to correct it. Higher compliances. This is the very important point from industry point of view. If you see from the 1718 when the GST was implemented, still many people have not paid the taxes for different reasons. And those who have purchased those services or materials from them and claimed based on that purchase, they are facing inquiry or they are receiving notices that your GSTR 2A claimed or what you have claimed as ITC is not matching with what they are getting in GSTR 2A. So that compliance part becomes a unnecessary time consuming thing for both buyer and seller, which will be reduced. It also reduces risk for, what you can say, uh, what we call it, mushrooming industry coming in, services providers coming in picture, and then they take the money and they disappear. Those things, those risks will reduce. It will make more compliant. Then it also shows the government what is they are into spending and what savings they have, because online system, if you go through the whole thing, we will realize 80% of the revenue is coming from this high turnover businesses. So they know what is the revenue they are going to get, and based on that they can also plan their spendings and savings. This is also a green initiative because it reduces number of pages, number of prints. E-invoice can also remove the e-way bill which we make separately. Right now also for any interstate transaction and certain limits above for different states, the limits are different, but after that limit, if you are transferring material, you have to have a e-way bill. In this case, the invoice is itself will suffice the purpose of e-bill as well, because you can add that as well in the system. Now, what is e-invoice? This is a question which is most of the time people ask, what is e-invoice basically? Is it generated from GSTR portal? The answer is no. The e-invoice is a standard invoice recommended by GSTN for GST registered suppliers. So it is standardized, but it is not to be coming out from portal. Then e-invoice involves submission of already generated invoice on a common e-portal, which is we have given here, it is by the department as e-invoice 1.gst.gov.in. It acts like a digital authentication by GSTN and gets auto-populated at the time of filing return. So it has two, three purpose it is solving in a single shot. That is, first, your invoice is getting updated in system. It is digitally authenticated by GSTN by giving you a barcode and what is called ARN number, which is 64 alphabet, so making it system compliant and seeing through, they have the system by which, by going through that barcode, any department officials which checks the material in on while in transit, they can know what are the things inside. They don't have to even ask many things. Everything becomes very transparent to them. It is also helping you in other way, removing the separate e-way bill. So you can just, the moment you also fill in those details of e-way bill, like transporter details, it will also create a e-way bill in that number in invoice itself. But what are the limitations? The limitations of online system is that you have to be an online connectivity first. For small size units also, either they have to use a ERP for invoicing, but then they can keep invoice in same format, and the barcode which is populated, IRN populated by the system, will has to be picked up and used in that system. Most ERP does that. They have given most ERP a connectivity through APIs. But in that system, whatever we are using, they have also given some Excel sheets, etc. for those small sizes, people who don't have ERP, they can use that system, and through that also they can generate e-invoice. In that system generated invoice, PO number of customer and date is not having any mention there. So you can, where there is a processing done at customer end by their purchase order, then you have to separately provide that. Similarly, bank info is being generated, e-invoice generated by the system of GSTN is not having there. So where this is used by ERP, the ERP keeps their own standard format, but you taking and giving, sharing the data only for products or services to the system, GSTRN system, and once it is populating that barcode and ARN numbers, those things they pick up from there and bring back to the invoice, and then that is how the invoice is printed in the system which you have already there, and that removes the confusion. Your invoice remains same with everything, but adding two things, that is ARN number and that barcode, and in case of e-way bill, the e-way bill number. But for those who are going to use the government provided system, because they don't have separate ERP and that kind of infra working, like for e-way means information technology support in their own organization, for them they have to use that. Yes, there is one more thing here. In case of e-way bill, you need trained people for invoicing and also for projects, as no material can move to site without e-invoice. When we go to e-way bill site, this is how it looks like. If you see here, there is a help. First and foremost, people has to do the registration part. Here, registration, those who are using e-way bill can use the same e-way bill password and ID, and through that you can go inside. Once you fill on those relevant things, it will allow you to start the things. And here in help, if we go to help, you will see a particular menu which will show later. And here is the login through which, while using invoice generation, you have to log in. And after login, what we will do, we'll see later. When you go inside the help menu, this particular thing comes, what is called GEPP tools. You can download here. This downloading of EPP tools gives a small Excel sheet which can be used for generating e-invoice by small business entities without much of hassles. It is a simple Excel which generates invoice, and once you approve and you are okay, then it converts those files to JSON file, and that JSON files is to be used after login. So we will go to that. One more thing which would like to share, now they have come out with two-factor authentication. That means apart from e-way bill or e-invoice, you will have one more OTP things also if you want. If you register in the registered mobile, you will get an OTP which you have to use while generating the e-invoice or e-way bill through that. And this is something really interesting from my perspective. In last 18 months, 150 crore e-invoice is generated. This is what government has informed the industry. So it's quite interesting that 150 crore invoice in 18 months is a big number, which shows where from the government picks up the data for their revenue generation. Now, this is what the tool it shows: GST e-invoice preparation and printing tool. They have given 2 3 tools actually. If I go for all of them, it will take more time, because in short, what we see, we will go to an Excel file now, which will show you the real working of that particular case. See, this is the GSTN that we were talking a few minutes back, that this software provided by government. This is the Excel in means seat, where you are in the main menu right now. If you see here and go down, you can see here there is a supplier's profile. This is the supplier's profile, that is the company who is using it. Let's say, for example, I have just for sampling shown you Gen Solutions, the listing given. If you fill in these things and save it, it gives you uploading your logo, which will also come here. And then once you save that, you have the other option called recipient master. Here one need to give customers details, some where you want to, and it also gives you option for bill to ship to invoicing. So these two things are there. If you go back to main menu, it will also give you product master. Here we can generate a product master, giving those product description, invoices, unit, HSN, rates, everything. Once you save it, it is shown here, the one I am showing here in this case. So once this is done, then you can come back to main menu. Once you come back to main menu, you can see here in the top, new invoice. The moment you say new invoice, it will show you as pending invoice 1, which I have created for sample. Now, if I go to e-invoice, you see here, this is the thing. This is the e-invoice I created using that new invoice. Before that, I want to show you the e-invoice itself, so that menu will help you to understand. This is the e-invoice. You have to show here categories, whether mostly it is B2B or SEZ or your export. These are the 3 things where you must have e-invoice if your turnover is more than 20 crore. So if you have to take that, then you have whether reverse charge applicable, yes or no. Then document type, it is giving you 3 document type: tax invoice, tax debit credit note, and credit note. And then there is a document number. Here you can use your document number and document dates. Then once you give the GSTRN number of recipient, which you have already created a master, it automatically picks up the whole details of the customer. Once this is done, you can add the systems, all the items, and if you have created the item master, it will pick up the moment you put quantity, it will pick up all the details. And these things are done. You save it, submit it. Once you submit, this gives you the pending invoice, which is here. I am showing you here. Even before going to this validation, you want to see how this invoice look. it is not showing. Okay. It shows before saving the submission that how the invoice will look. So this e-invoice, once you go to pending invoice, it shows you that invoice is pending. Now this same format what we are seeing here in Excel is also available in other forms given by the department, where you can generate, you can fill those data here, and you can generate in bulk. Once you have generated bulk, here once we say this validate, it is saying validated successfully, and the moment it does that, it gives you prepare of JSONs. Now this JSONs has been created where these data are kept. Okay, now the moment this JSON is being uploaded in the system which we were talking here, after login here, that there is a option given is upload the JSONs file. So once you upload the JSONs file, it goes to the JSTR system. It allots you a barcode and ARN number, and which is given back to the, and they give you the option to download in Excel and also in PDF. You can print that as it is. The signature is given by the system itself, so you don't have to even sign. That shows or signifies that the department has knowledge about this invoice. It is already uploaded in the system, and once that Excel file is again brought back here and extracted to this system we were discussing here, here is the option. I'll just show you here, import QR code. Then that Excel what we have downloaded, that takes from there the number, and this pending invoice will disappear, and it will start showing here in generated invoice that invoice numbers. And from here when you print e-invoice, it gives you with your logo and the whole invoice. But yes, except following things, that the PO number and date of the your customer is will not be there, that bank details will not be there. So those things will not be there, but that invoice becomes a valid document for transmitting the material from here to your supplier's point. Yes, while making invoice, the bottom of the invoice after the items are entered, the option is generate e-way bill. The moment you say yes, it will ask you for the driver information, vehicle information, distance, etc., from where to where and all. You can put those in details, and once you put those details and then you submit, then while invoice is generated, it also shows at the bottom the e-way bill number. So the single page invoice, or if numbers are more, it can be more than one page, will have all the information, that is invoice number, dates, all the items, and e-way bill in single place. When we are going to have the GSTR1 and you say that update from e-way bill, e-invoice system, the whole thing will be updated in your GSTR1 and also your HSN code summary, etc., by the system itself. And in that case, in GSTR1, we only need to add what is called unregistered supplies. That is, we are sales made to unregistered people, that we have to add separately. And for simplicity, or even for what we can call say control region, you can generate a separate series also for that. Department is not stopping from that. You can use same system also, but then you have to also look into how you will control the serial numbers. One, two. Once you put that in system and you also update accordingly the HSN code, you are ready for, with very minimum time, you are ready for GSTRN filing. It requires very minimum effort. This is simple for even smallest organization to use. Why I am using this term smallest? Because right now it is 20 crore, but even if tomorrow 10 crore or 5 crore it comes, with little understanding, you can generate and use this system to reduce your working load at month end or on 10th or before 10th for filing GSTR1, and that also helps you to reduce time for your GSTR 3B, because it will pick up everything from here. What, how it is advantage for industry now? Industry has lesser communication issues with the tax authorities while on mobile or movements, because the moment they say invoice, they don't unnecessarily harass your transporters. They allow movements easily because it is already in the system with all. It also reduce lot of HSN code related issues when you make invoice online. That also makes it helpful for your tax rates issues. Yes, it is a burden in the sense for small units. If they don't have connectivity or poor connectivity, then it is going to be a trouble. I think this is the basic bare minimum information one must have for doing this presentation, or I think that is what we require to do at this juncture. I think I have tried to give you bare minimum information, but yes, this is the what e-invoice does in the system. So now, if any one of you have any queries, I'm open to that.
Uh, Binoyji, thank you very much. Myself, as a salesperson, I was initially very much worried that how would the things happen, and as an amateur business owner, I was thinking that this was something like I would never be able to do it, and the kind of people I have, I might need a lot of training and so on. You have made things so simple over here, but still, there are certain questions from people. Let's answer to that, and then we come back.
Yes, sir.
So Mr. Kumar has a question. Is it right for e-invoicing aggregate turnover has exceeded rupees 500 crore limit cross, only then e-invoicing is applicable? I think you answered this question, but I would still like you to reiterate the same.
Yeah, actually, it was
Now
earlier
it's changed.
500 crores when it started. Then it was brought down to 100 crores, and because this was happening in period of Corona, so it was not having much fanfare or announcements. But yes, it was brought down to 50 crores last. Now from 1st April, it is 20 crores, not 500. So 20 crores if you have crossed in any financial years from 17 18, when first it was announced that GSTR system, till to 21 22, any of the year if you have crossed 20 crore, then it is applicable on your, I mean, company. And when you go to the system and you, they have an option given in the system portal itself, you put your GSTRN number. Means the GSTR system will tell you whether it is applicable on you or not. The second thing, one more, I
Right.
must tell you here, even the I mean, I was checking with the department, they are not ready to give. Let us say if my turnover is 2 crore only and I want to use e-way bill, they are not allowing right now because they don't want to congest the system. They are slowly trying to do implement in phase manner so that there is no hassles at GSTR and portal system. So at right now it is 20 crore, and if you are having the 20 crore in these 4 years, then you have to start to, I mean, e-invoicing. They have also clarified in notification that if e-invoice is not used by from the 1st April, and if you are supposed to issue, then your all other invoices are going to be treated as illegal invoices, not having any legal meaning in case of GST. So in indirectly it is saying that if you have crossed 20 year in last 4 year, any of the year, then you have no option but to start e-invoice only from 1st April. And that is why they have started the portal and giving all information 2 months in advance, not now, 2 months in advance, so that you can try, test, training, and it's not very complicated as I shown you. So even the simplest, with half an hour training also you can start making invoice very simple way, and the department is fully happy with that, and you will be also finding it afterwards is very useful in due course.
Sure. Thanks a lot, sir, about this. The next question also was from Mr. Kumar about how to create the JSON file and the QR code.
That's what I'm saying.
I believe you.
If you
Yeah.
see the my presentation in Excel sheets we have shown you, if you go to the system, they are allowing you to download those system. In that system you can create all the data what we are showing you about the supplier, your recipient, and the product. Then it takes 1 minute only to make the invoice in that system. And once you submit the system with those information, and the system itself, after approval, if I think I have shown you here in Excel sheet, here the spending invoice, when I go, it shows you here. If I validate here and it says successfully, then you see here it is coming prepared JSONs. So, okay, I am not able to show you. Okay, just a minute. I have to share here.
Okay. I'll just move on to the next question because of Mr. Nikhil Anturkar. Mr. Nikhil has a question
Okay, I can read it. Can we
regarding can
upload
we.
e-invoice once in 7 8 days or daily we need to upload generated? First of all, I would like to tell you, you can generate an invoice, but if your invoice is not generated, you cannot move the material. So you have, in case of this Excel sheets, you can create the invoice, keep it. When you need it, you just process that and upload that, and you can get a printout. Only after the getting that barcode and generation and printing, your invoice is ready and you can dispatch material. You cannot do it after 7 8 days. Maximum 24 hours is what you can hold the things. Same thing is for the cancellation. If you have generated an invoice, you can cancel it, but that cancellation window is available for 24 hours only. So within 24 hours, if you want to cancel, yes, you can. But afterwards, if it is not, then you have to cancel it only in GSTR1 filing time, not before that. But one more thing to be noted, even if it is cancelled, that item or those descriptions of invoice will be available in GSTR1 with a message that these are cancelled. So data is being captured by the department what you are cancelling.
I think that also makes sense because the next question is just relative to it. If we are shipping the material, probably the e-way bill has to be generated along with it. And since we are generating a e-invoice and both are linked together, you don't need to do it separately or at different times. Correct me, please.
Yeah, yes. They have given you option when you generate e-invoice, there is a option for e-way bill. The moment you say yes, they will only ask detail about vehicles, drivers, etc. Those details once you fill and you submit, automatically when you take the e-invoice, at the bottom of it, it will also print e-way bill number. So there will be no separate e-way bill.
Right, right. Perfect. I have a couple of questions. Now, you mentioned about something related to spending and savings.
Yeah, this is spending and saving is mostly from the government point of view. I can tell you what happens. Earlier
Right.
also, when the system has people don't understand how government takes the revenue systems. We are paying for, let us say, in the month of March, we are paying on the 20th of April, and we are filing GSTR1 on 10th. So even if GSTR1 is filed, department comes to know about March activity in the month of
Meaning
April 10th.
April.
But when this is e-invoice, let us say what is the volume of revenue coming to government? The government is
Mhm.
getting revenue from all the big companies, which is major chunk of their revenue. The last quarter, or what you can say, the last bracket, which is 5 crore and less than 5 crore, that segment is volumes are big, but the quantum is very small.
Yeah.
So if they get information about 90% of their revenue coming from big chunk, they know what is the revenue they are going to have and what expense or spending they are doing currently. Then they can
Right.
plan accordingly and save or adjust accordingly. That is what they are doing now. So as it goes down to the from say 20 crore to 5 crore tomorrow, they will have much accurate level of earning before month end itself, because those data are being reflected to them at regular levels.
Right. Now, sir, you also mentioned one thing about digital authentication using the QR code. Plus, you also mentioned about uh, the two-stage authentication using the OTP.
Yeah,
So, is
actually,
it an
this is
option or is it going to get mandatory with it so that
so
you
far they
don't
have
have
not.
wrong invoices being generated?
No, no. See, this authentication part is only to secure your system. Like, say, for example, if somebody gets your password and ID and creates something for you and you don't know even, then it
Right.
can create a problem. So, to safeguard those ideas, or rather
Right.
those incidents, they have come up with this idea that if it is authenticated with, I mean, OTP number, so at least anyone, just because he's getting a means what is called number and password, he will not be able to create a problem for you because you have a
Right.
third authentication
So
from
it's
that
more about the
perspective.
security related part and
Yes, yes,
for the betterment of the business.
yes.
So
Some
it's
some people have faced some problems, so they have requested, and the department very fast came back on that.
fantastic. And I think that's a very good tool also in our banking sector. Also, we have similar kind of thing where we
Correct,
have these
correct, sir.
OTPs and all those things. And
Yes, sir.
this is a very good step for safety of the business.
Correct, sir.
Perfect. I'll take the next question from Mr. Dilip. By which paper can we move materials on site if order is SITC? So I think it's going billing is separate and site is at a separate place. Probably that's the question, I believe.
No, material has to move with the e-invoice only.
Okay. So even if it is going to a different place or a location, it has to get transported. Although the billing address might be of a different city
Correct,
or
correct, correct.
sometimes one state.
Because they have given you option that bill to ship to issue. So that
Right.
thing is same. They have not changed anything. But the only thing e-invoice is doing is your invoice captured in advance instead of earlier GSTR 1 on 10th of the next month. It is now capturing instantly. So
Instantaneously.
they
Right.
they know what you are doing actually.
Right. And actually, that makes a person's life probably more easier because he has his tract of invoices online, as well as
Yes.
while filing his GSTR. It becomes easier for him because everything is compiled over there, and he just has to take care of the non GSTR invoices which he is made. He just has to take care of it.
Uh, what do you say?
The customers who don't have GST number and you have made invoices for them, you just have to take care of
That
it. The rest is taken
Yeah,
care.
that is separately to be done, and that only you have to add in GSTR1. In any case, that takes hardly few minutes because they
Right.
don't ask many information there. I can see one question here. Is there any
Yes.
separate format for e-invoicing if we want to make invoice in Excel? No, sir. You can make in Excel the way you want. Uploading the system, they have certain parameters in certain way. You add those information in Excel, it will take accordingly. If you see the Excel file downloaded from the system, it will give you idea. You have to generate in that whatever form you give, it will take in that form, so that they can translate into JSON's file very easily. So that is not very difficult, but very simple.
Perfect. We have again a question from Mr. Kumar. Probably he seems to have tried a lot of things and he is not able to get through, and so he's here. We thank you for coming in over here, Mr. Kumar. So he has a question about e-invoicing. For only is it only for B2B and
Yes, it
also
is.
B2C for other places?
No, no,
Can we select
B2B only. See, it is for B2B, or if you are supplying to SEZ, or you are supplying to export. These three are covered. There are others also which is not covered, who don't have to do, like banking, like insurance. They are not supposed, even though their turnover is more than 20 crores or 500 crores, they are not supposed to issue invoice because that is not required for them. There are some notifications given where it is not, I mean, those people who don't have to issue e-invoice. But e-invoice is B2C is not there. B2C, you have to do it separately, and that has to be added in GSTR1. The reason is why government is very keen about this segment, not B2C. B2C is whatever you are declaring that value and in GST amounts. Those are the last customers. There will be no reversals. In case
Versus.
of B2B, they know what is the amount which is going to be claimed by the business.
Right, right. The next question is something which is very interesting, and it is from none other than Ajit sir. And his question is, um, how do we account the goods returned, especially in SITC projects, in which the material is invoiced in the beginning and probably it is returned after 6 to 7 months? How do we take care of it?
Sir, we have to create a credit note only because the department is earlier they were talking about 6 month time period for credit notes, but now it is not so. You can, if material is physically coming back, it has to come with a credit note only. So you can generate a credit note, bring back the material under that.
Okay, okay, great. That answers a lot of question. If there are any other questions, we can put in. But just to summarize, okay, this system will help all us business owners, especially for better visibility of our business, what we are doing. Same is with the government; they can see how we are transacting and what we are doing. It will increase the transparency in our business, which will also bring, especially as people who are related to refrigeration and air conditioning industry, who are looked as a very not to authenticate business guys, because there are a lot of transactions going on. Probably this will bring us also to a level, the volume of business that we are doing, and that will increase the credibility of us as business owners in this uh, industry. Plus small MSMEs, especially the startups, this system would make it very easy for them, uh, uh, and avoid a lot of accountancy information or work that they have to additionally do it. I believe with this information, Mr. Benoy, what you have shared with us and the practical example with the Excel sheet and so on, many attendees today or people who would look at this presentation at a later stage would have a lot of things clarified in their mind, and they might be away from the fear that government is looking at us and we need to be very cautious and so on. So things will become more simple with all these things. I thank you wholeheartedly from Rata for this wonderful session and guiding us with the basic in a very simple way about e-invoicing. I also thank Rata for organizing this event with such a splendid speaker. And I would recommend each and every person who is over here to find more information about us, become a member of Rata, a proud member of Rata, and have access to all these wonderful information which we have for you, for your team members who can bring your team members up, and we can all grow professionally in this world of refrigeration. Thank you very
Thank you, sir.
much.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much, Vinay ji.
If
Thank you very
anybody
much.
has any queries, they can reach me also, no problem. Thank you.
Perfect.
Through
Perfect.
Rata.
Thanks a lot. Thank you everyone for joining. Have a great day and a weekend.